We're going to take a look at the program list report. The program list report is designed to give you quick and easy access to program audience data. Whether you are looking to see what the top programs are in a market or evaluate how a specific program is performing, you'll find your answers here. New to this report is the ability to select up to 8 audiences at once and include reach stats such as total, weekly, and daily. Let's build a report. So using the predefined list, I'm going to select the last 4 weeks of confirmed data. If I need to build anything custom, I can come into Custom under Date Ranges and build the date range that I need by selecting my start and end date. Under Audiences, I'm going to choose Adults 2+, and I can add any demographic qualifiers to this audience that I need. In this case, I'm just going to leave Adults 2+, click Add, and I can see that audience has been added to my report. I'm also going to come in and grab a secondary audience, so I'm going to look at adults 18 to 49 and click Add, and you can add, like I mentioned, up to 8 audiences in this report. For stats, I have rating and AMA selected by default. I can unselect these if I need to, or I can also include any of the reach stats that I might want to see. For this report, we'll just stick with rating and audience. For markets, we have all the PPM markets available here. So if I pick English Canada, it's going to select the 6 conventional stations by default. If I want to verify those stations, I can click on that option, and I can see the stations selected if I search for English Canada are CBC, City, CTV, CTV2, Global, and the new network Net5. I could add any other stations that I might want to this report, or I can stick with the conventional stations that I have. I can also add specialty digital and pay stations, and also a secondary mark for full coverage audience numbers. In this case, I'll grab Total Canada. I can also set any program filters that I might need, so names to include, names to exclude. If I want to filter by number aired, so only programs that might have aired 3 or more times over my date range, I can do that here. And I can also filter by day parts if I want to maybe only look at primetime shows. Once my template is filled in, I can run the report. And you can see how fast it is here within Lens. Now, all the programs are going to be ranked based on my primary AMA. I can re-rank based on any of the stats or even column header. So if I want to sort by program name, I can do that by clicking on that header. I'm going to come back and sort based on my primary AMA and take a look at the first line. So I can see for the Big Bang Theory that aired on CTV, the first airing we picked up based on the date range I selected was December 3rd, and the last one was January 7th. This program airs on Thursday from 8 to 8:30, and it's 30 minutes long. And there were 4 airings that we picked up. The program had, for adults 2+, a rating of 13.2, and an audience in English Canada of 3.7 million. When I look at my secondary market, which was Total Canada, my audience increases to almost 3.8 million. So about an extra 90,000 people came in from French Canada to watch this English broadcast. I can see my audiences for my secondary demographic and also the composition. So the composition will show up anytime that any of your secondary audiences are a subset of your primary. So in this case, 46% of the Big Bang Theory is adults 18 to 49, and that's based on the 2+ base. And I can also see my composition based on my secondary audience as well. Now we can see that the Big Bang Theory aired 4 times. If I want to see how each of those 4 areas did, I can click on the little arrow beside the line number, and it's going to give me a drop down of all the individual episodes. So I can see how each episode did based on its air date and how the average came to be. I can use the search function here if I want to look for a particular program. So if I'm looking for maybe Modern Family, if I just start typing in Modern, it'll bring up all matches based on that text. And from here, I can expand to see individual airings for that program. And at this point, if I was to export to Excel, just what I'm seeing on the screen would export to Excel. So it's a nice way to keep your exports nice and clean if you're trying to look at just different programs at different times. You can also use the search up here to look for particular programs. So if I just wanted to look for programs that aired on CTV-Com, I can just type in CTV-Com, and I'm only going to see programs that aired on that station. So this search field right here is very versatile, and you can use it for a lot of different functions to make sure that you're looking at exactly what you want when you want within a single report without having to go back and forth. If you want to refresh yourself on what your report parameters were, up here in report parameters, you can just expand this window, and this is your technical card. So we can see that we ran it on English Canada, the stations that we selected, and I can also see my full coverage market, which is identified below as my secondary market was Total Canada. If I export this to Excel, everything will be exported to Excel, including my report parameters. If you need to go back to make any changes within this report, we can just click on the back arrow, and it'll take you back to your template setup where you can make any changes and rerun the report. If you want to save this report for later, you can click Save As, give the report a name, assign it to a client, and even put any special notes that you might want to have in there. I'm not going to save this report, but you can save any reports that you have for future use. The last thing I'll show you within a program report is the feedback button. So if you can think of anything that you might want to see added to this report, or if you just like what we're doing with Lens, let us know through this feedback option. We'd love to hear from you. Thank you for tuning into the Program List Report.